All right, everyone. So now that we have some sound effects or music, we've done maybe some simple editing in Twisted Wave or something like that. Let's start to use them in our project. So you guys have, exercise folder that you can play around with. Inside of that folder, I have a folder I created called sound, and it has a bunch of, files here, both MP3 and WAV, both of which Tahoma2D can work with. So I'm going to go to Tahoma2D, and I have this animation. Oops, I don't know what happened there with this. It just died there. Oops. Alright, let's play this back. So you got the splat, right? Now the animation's fine, but it would be nice to sort of quote-unquote sell that action with a sound effect. Okay, so I actually have a sound effect. I'm going to go under browser and I'm going to go to splat.wave. Okay, I don't know if I can play it by itself here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this into our project. Okay, so what's going to happen is I'm going to import this and it's going to make a new layer, and that layer is going to hold the sound. Okay, so I'm going to go to my browser, find the sound effect that I want, and I'm going to right click on it and go to where it says load. You're going to get a message here that says sound splat doesn't belong in the current folder. Do you want to import it or load it into its original location? Let's import. I already have it. Okay. So here's my sound. You can hear it. This thing here is the waveform. The waveform is the visualization of sound. You might have, when we were in Twisted Wave, that was the sound effect here. You can also play it back just by literally clicking. If the sound effect is too loud or too quiet, if you click to the left here, you can see that I get a little volume slider to make it louder, or to make it softer. So now you can hear it much softer. I'm going to relabel this splat sound effect. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this where I think it should go, and I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit so I can see the waveform. The waveform is really when the splat is happening, so kind of want to place this, so I'm going to highlight this whole thing. Let's play that back. Sometimes it helps to put the sound like just a frame before. Okay, see how this sound effect is really selling this action here? Okay. I mentioned also that sometimes a sound effect can sell an action that we're not even going to animate. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. I have this character who's running. Okay, and what I want to do is I'm actually going to animate it so that the guy's running and then he's going to run off the screen. Okay, so I'm going to do this by actually using the animation with keyframes like we did. And I'm going to set a keyframe, and then I'm going to have the characters kind of move off screen. Oops, except unlock it. Okay, so let's just play that back. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to sell the action of the character running off screen and then crashing. So how am I going to do that? Well, I could animate the crash by literally drawing it. Or a better, easier way would be, you know, kind of like when I was showing you that Wile E. Coyote, where we never really see Wile E. Coyote hit the ground. We just kind of hear the sound effect, right? Let me see if I can find that real quick. All right, so I got... It's not actually the same one I showed you, but it's similar. They're all kind of the same, where he falls and hits the ground. So let's watch Wile E. Coyote fall. Now, once again, we didn't see him hit the ground. We just heard a sound effect, and then we saw the aftermath, which is a bunch of smoke. So we're going to do something kind of like that. So I'm going to import a sound effect called crash. I'm going to import this. And what's going to happen is it's going to add this to my, it's going to add it. It actually added it where my time marker was. I'm going to call this crash sound effect. And I'm actually going to take the whole sound effect and kind of get it a little bit after the character leaves the screen. And let's put this in camera mode. This way we can't see what's happening on the left and right. And then... Okay. I'm going to raise the volume up on that. I want to make a really big crash. Okay. So even though I didn't have to animate the guy hitting a wall or crashing, we can, our mind, you know, when we hear the sound effect, our brain goes, well, we saw a guy run off screen, then we heard a crash sound. We put two and two together that the guy crashed, right? But we didn't have to draw any of that. So it's a way to save time and way to save, you know, animation time. It would have taken, you know, could I have animated that frame by frame? Yeah, I could have. It would have taken a long time, but I could have done it. But this is a lot easier to find a sound effect and just have it happen off screen, you know what I mean? Also, there's a little bit of a comedic effort to it too, where if you don't see it, it's not as, you know, it's kind of funnier too. Another thing we could do is use sound or music to help with animation. So a lot of times animation can help dictate the pace or the vibe or the timing of your animation. So I have this sound effect here, or this piece of music, sorry. So I want to animate my character to this sound. Okay, I'm actually going to animate this star, and I'm going to just use, you know, keyframes to it. Just to make the animation easier. So when you listen to that music, it's a percussion, and it's like boom, 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 boom. It's very consistent. You know what I mean? It's boom, boom. The rhythm is always staying the same. You know what I mean? So when I animate my character, it would make sense that the motion that the character does also stays in that same rhythm. So maybe I'm going to take this character here, and I'm going to kind of animate the character, and I'm going to have it kind of expand and collapse. Basically, we call this like a heartbeat. This is so I'm going to actually play around with scale here, and I'm just going to kind of So it goes big and then it goes small. And actually, it really needs to keep consistent. So I'm actually going to use, let's use some, I'm using these guidelines here just so I know how big my character should be. Because just like the sound is consistent, I would also want the motion path to be consistent. So in other words, like this is actually too big, and I want to get it smaller. And then it's going to grow to this other one. And then shrink. And then grow. And then shrink. I may not do all of it, but you know, the point here is I'm trying to keep a consistent animation in the same way that, you know, alright. So let me try this. Okay. And especially with sound, even changing, you know, I'm going to zoom in on this just so we can see it. If you actually have the action happen like just before the sound effect, you're going to notice that it makes the action feel a little more crisper. This is what I learned from years of editing. So notice I'm putting the actions just as quick, you know, half a second, not even a half a second, like a 24th of a second before the action here. Okay. So, you know, if you're deciding to use music, you should think about how the music may affect how you animate, okay? You know, if the music is slow in terms of its tempo, then maybe the animation action should be slow. You know, if I was using Flight of the Bumblebee, which is a very fast, jittery kind of song or to use, then the actions and the animation should be fast and jittery. You know, the characters jumping around the scene or whatever. It's not going to just be slow and consistent. It'd be like boom, 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 you know, to keep along with that pattern. So you should think about how sound effects, you know, how you can use sound and how you can use music to affect your animation. Okay. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to do sound dubbing for characters. In other words, how to make their lips match the words that they're saying.